Have you ever found yourself sitting alone on a Friday night, scrolling through social media, watching everyone else's highlight reels filled with perfect dates and romantic getaways, and quietly wondering what flaw within you is keeping love out of reach? Have you questioned why every person who once seemed promising eventually drifted away, disappeared, or turned out to be completely wrong for you? I need you to hear something that is about to shift your entire perspective. What you've been seeing as rejection is actually divine protection. What you've been labeling as loneliness is truly preparation. Your singleness is not a curse that needs breaking, it is a calling that needs embracing. You did not come across this message by accident. You are here because your spirit has been searching for answers, and heaven is responding. What I'm about to share will completely transform how you view this season of your life. By the end of this message, you'll understand that being single isn't delaying your destiny, it's positioning you for it. But before I go further into what heaven is releasing, I need you to do something that carries spiritual weight. Pause for a moment and press that like button below. This isn't about algorithms or numbers. When you like this video, you're sending a signal into the atmosphere that you're ready to receive what's about to be released over your life. You're marking this moment as significant. Then subscribe to this channel, because in this season I'm releasing word after word specifically for the chosen ones, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. When you tap that notification bell, you're telling heaven, I'm paying attention. Now here's the most important part. Go into the comments and type the number 888 right now. Don't hesitate. Do it immediately. The number 888 symbolizes new beginnings in love, divine alignment in relationships, and breakthrough in your romantic life. Your comment isn't just text on a screen, it's a spiritual activation. It's you saying yes to what heaven is already saying yes to. Your engagement helps this message reach other chosen ones who are searching for answers just like you were. So type 888 right now and let it be your agreement with this journey. Let's begin by tearing down the biggest lie you've been told. The world has convinced you that singleness is a holding pattern, a limbo you should be desperate to escape. But that isn't truth. That's conditioning designed to keep you anxious and willing to settle. Your singleness isn't a waiting room where life pauses until someone arrives to validate your existence. It's a training ground where God is developing something within you that most people never cultivate because they rush into relationships before they're ready. You've always been different. Even as a child, you felt it. While others were consumed with popularity and fitting in, you were drawn toward depth. You asked questions that unsettled adults. You felt emotions more intensely. You saw through surface-level behavior in ways your peers didn't. That wasn't a flaw, it was a marker. You were set apart from the beginning because God knew you would need uncommon strength for an uncommon assignment. And uncommon assignments demand uncommon preparation. Consider relationships from a spiritual lens. They aren't just romantic attachments or emotional experiences, they are covenants that intertwine destinies. When two people unite, they don't simply share space and create memories. They merge spiritual trajectories, they connect assignments, they influence one another's calling. For someone like you, someone carrying a weighty purpose, God cannot risk you binding yourself to the wrong person. Even someone who appears perfect on paper can be spiritually misaligned with where you're headed. That's why doors closed that you thought should have opened. That's why people left when you believed they were meant to stay. How many times has this happened? You meet someone and the chemistry feels undeniable. You begin imagining a future. Hope rises. And then suddenly, without warning or explanation, it falls apart. The spark fades. Communication stops. They reveal something that shows they were never truly right for you. You probably blamed yourself, replayed conversations, wondered what you did wrong. But what if nothing was wrong? What if God intervened because he could see further down that road than you could? What if he saw the compromise, the distraction, the derailment that would have followed had you continued? Your singleness is shaping something in you that can't be formed any other way. It's sharpening your discernment. Most people enter relationships driven by loneliness, pressure, or fear. They overlook red flags because they don't want to see them. They ignore warnings because they're afraid of being alone. But you are being trained differently. In solitude, in waiting, in moments where you've had to face yourself without distraction, God has been refining your ability to see clearly. You're learning the difference between chemistry and compatibility, attraction and alignment, someone who excites your flesh and someone who elevates your spirit. That level of discernment only comes through intentional singleness. And when the right person arrives, you won't be desperate, you'll be discerning. You'll be ready. Understand this. You are not just a body searching for love. You are a spiritual being carrying light, authority, and purpose. Your energy is sacred. Every person you invite into your inner circle gains access to your spiritual substance. Every conversation is an exchange. Every connection forms bonds deeper than the physical. When you attach yourself to the wrong person, they can drain you without even realizing it. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it leaks out. That's what happens in spiritually misaligned relationships. You keep giving, investing, pouring, yet you feel empty because that connection was never designed to sustain what you carry. God sees this. He knows the wrong relationship would dilute your focus, weaken your effectiveness, and compromise your mission. So He's placed a shield around you. Sometimes that shield feels like isolation. I know the isolation hurts. I know there are nights when the silence feels overwhelming and loneliness cuts deep. But isolation is not abandonment. You're not alone because you're unloved, you're set apart because you're chosen. The enemy recognizes the threat you pose. He knows that when you fully step into your calling, atmospheres shift, strongholds break, and people are set free. So he tries to tempt you with shallow connections and toxic patterns that would distract you. But God hasn't allowed it. Even what felt like rejection was protection. Soul ties are real. When you connect deeply, emotionally, physically, spiritually, bonds are formed that don't automatically dissolve when the relationship ends. They linger. They influence. They drain. Some of you are still carrying ties from years ago, and they're clouding your vision and disturbing your peace. That's why God has been protective about who gains access to you. He isn't punishing you with singleness. He's preserving the purity of what He's building for your future. The person He's preparing for you won't just love you, they'll be able to handle your light without trying to dim it. They'll respect your calling without feeling threatened by it. Your relationship won't simply be about building a life together, it will be about fulfilling kingdom assignments as partners. That kind of union can't be rushed or forced. It can only emerge when both individuals are prepared. And right now, you are in preparation. A woman named Stephanie once shared that she spent 5 years single after a devastating breakup. She thought God had forgotten her. But during those 5 years, she healed childhood wounds she didn't know existed. She learned to hear God's voice clearly. She built a business that now supports her and allows her to give generously. When she finally met her husband, she wasn't looking for someone to complete her, she was whole, and he was whole. Their marriage turned out far better than what she once thought she wanted, because God used her singleness to prepare her for something she couldn't have handled before. If you're in that season, trust it. Every day matters. Your singleness is also about breaking generational cycles. Look honestly at your family history. Are there patterns of divorce, infidelity, emotional distance, or settling out of fear? Those patterns didn't start with you, but they can end with you. You are called to be a cycle breaker. That's why your journey feels longer. God can't allow you to repeat what came before. He needs you healed, aware, and equipped to build something different. If you rushed into a relationship carrying unresolved trauma, you would unconsciously recreate the dysfunction you witnessed. You'd attract someone who mirrors your brokenness instead of complementing your wholeness. But God is saying no. Not in your generation. The dysfunction ends with you. Transformation requires time. It requires sitting in your own company and doing the inner work others avoid. Facing triggers, processing pain, healing deeply. It's not quick, but it's necessary. When you finally commit to your person, you won't carry baggage, you'll carry breakthrough. Think about the legacy you're building. Your future children won't inherit broken blueprints. They'll witness two whole people united in purpose. That legacy begins with how you steward this season, refusing to settle, resisting pressure, trusting that what God is forming in you is worth every lonely night. You're single because you have assignments requiring undivided focus. You carry intercession, prayers that shift atmospheres. You carry prophetic insight, the ability to sense what others miss. You carry healing, people feel safe and restored around you. You carry influence, a voice positioned to impact culture and draw others to truth. These aren't small responsibilities. They demand clarity, emotional health, and spiritual sharpness. A wrong relationship would compromise your focus and dilute your impact. So God is grounding you in identity before introducing partnership. Another viewer, Jennifer, once shared how every relationship pulled her away from her calling. After staying single for 3 years, she launched a nonprofit that has now served over 10,000 women. When she met her husband, he didn't ask her to shrink, he helped her expand. Her singleness wasn't wasted. It built her foundation. Now, what should you be doing in this season? Singleness isn't passive waiting, it's active building. Deepen your relationship with God. Strengthen your prayer life. Pour into your purpose. Heal your wounds. Develop your character, patience, integrity, kindness, self-control. Care for your physical and mental health. Steward your finances wisely. Stay in community. Serve others. Cultivate contentment. When you learn contentment, you stop settling out of loneliness. You enter relationships from abundance, not desperation. Your singleness has never been about not being enough. It has always been divine strategy. Every closed door protected you. Every ending made space. Every quiet season refined you. There is a shift happening. For some, the waiting season is ending. Divine connections are approaching. You'll recognize it by peace, not urgency. For others, preparation continues. Embrace it. The stronger the foundation, the more powerful the union. The partner God has for you will walk in purpose beside you. They'll honor your boundaries, nurture your light, and protect what you carry. Together, you'll reflect what surrendered partnership looks like under His authority. Lisa once shared that she was single for 9 years before meeting her husband on a missions trip. Both were whole. Both were grounded. Today, they pray together, serve together, and build legacy together. She said every year of waiting was worth it. If you're in your waiting season, hold steady. Don't compromise because you're tired. Don't lower standards because others are pairing off. Guard your heart. Protect your peace. The right person is worth waiting for. The wrong one isn't worth the detour. Your patience isn't wasted. Every act of obedience plants seeds. Every no to the wrong thing makes room for the right one. Every quiet night with God builds intimacy that will overflow into your future relationship. You are not waiting in vain. You are being prepared for greatness. One day you'll look back and realize every moment of this season had purpose. Move forward with courage, knowing God holds you, and He will not fail. There is something deeper happening in your singleness that most people never recognize. This is not just a preparation season. This is an acceleration season. While others are distracted by emotional turbulence, relationship drama, and constant compromise, you are being positioned for supernatural growth. What takes some people 10 years to develop inside a chaotic relationship, God can build in you in 2 years of focused solitude. Silence sharpens you. Solitude strengthens you. Stillness stabilizes you. There is a level of emotional intelligence you gain when you are not constantly reacting to someone else's instability. There is a spiritual maturity that develops when your only validation comes from God and not from someone texting you good morning. You are learning how to self-regulate. You are learning how to sit with your emotions instead of escaping them. You are learning how to make decisions from clarity instead of attachment. That is power. Most people never develop that power because they jump from connection to connection, using relationships to avoid themselves. But you are being forced to confront yourself. And that confrontation is producing confidence that cannot be shaken. Let me tell you something prophetic. When your season shifts, it will shift quickly. Because the foundation you are building right now is not fragile. It is solid. It is intentional. It is God-constructed. And when something is built properly, it doesn't require constant repair. There is also a financial acceleration happening for many of you. Notice how, in this season, you've had more mental space to think clearly about your future. More time to develop skills. More discipline around your money. More focus on long-term vision. That is not random. God is making sure that when your partner arrives, you are not meeting from lack, you are meeting from overflow. Two people in lack create survival. Two people in overflow create legacy. There is a difference. You are also developing emotional boundaries. And this is critical. In your past, maybe you overgave. Maybe you tolerated behavior you shouldn't have. Maybe you confused potential with reality. But now you pause. Now you observe. Now you discern. That growth alone disqualified several people who would have wasted your time. You think they lost interest. In reality, they lost access. Because your standards rose. And when standards rise, access becomes limited. Here's another hidden truth. God often withholds what you want to protect what you will one day need. Right now, you think you need companionship. But what you truly need is clarity. What you truly need is stability. What you truly need is identity without attachment. And once identity is secured, love becomes addition, not completion. This is why when the right person arrives, it will feel calm. Not chaotic. Steady. Not confusing. Peaceful. Not anxiety-driven. You will not have to convince them. You will not have to chase them. You will not have to shrink for them. It will align naturally because both of you will be operating from wholeness. And here is the part that should give you confidence. The delay has filtered out everyone who was not strong enough to handle your future. If they couldn't survive your preparation season, they were never meant to participate in your promise season. Let that settle in your spirit. Right now, you are becoming someone who cannot be manipulated by attention. Cannot be rushed by loneliness. Cannot be intimidated by time. That is transformation. And when you combine spiritual maturity, emotional stability, financial discipline, healed trauma, and clarified purpose, you don't just attract love. You attract aligned love. There is a difference between someone who wants you and someone who is assigned to you. One is driven by desire. The other is driven by destiny. And destiny does not rush. So while the world tells you that you are behind, heaven is saying you are ahead. Ahead in healing, ahead in wisdom, ahead in discernment, ahead in readiness. This season is not empty. It is loaded. Loaded with growth. Loaded with refinement. Loaded with unseen upgrades that will make your future relationship stronger than anything you've witnessed before. So instead of asking, "Why am I still single?" start asking, "What is God building in me right now that requires this level of focus?" Because when you see it clearly, you won't resent this season. You will respect it. And when the time comes, and it will come, you will step into love not as someone searching to be chosen, but as someone who already knows they are.